Every person who has ever lived is shaped by the decisions they make. Some decisions seem small at the time, almost invisible in their importance, yet they quietly guide the direction of a life. Others appear large and obvious, moments when we know that what we choose will determine where we stand tomorrow. Life is not simply a collection of days passing by. It is a pathway formed by decisions. And the truth that many people overlook is that one decision made at the right moment can change everything about the future. Many people believe that life changes slowly and only through great effort. They imagine that transformation comes through years of struggle, years of planning, and years of climbing step by step. While effort certainly has its place, there are moments in life when everything can shift in a single instant. A single choice can redirect the entire course of a life. One decision can turn darkness into light, confusion into clarity, and emptiness into purpose. History is filled with stories of people whose lives changed because of a single moment of decision. There are people who lived for years without direction, without hope, wandering through life, without understanding why they were here. Yet when they finally made the right decision, everything about their life began to move in a new direction. The power of that moment was not found in how long it took to make the decision, but in the truth behind the choice they made. Too many people underestimate the importance of decisions. They drift through life allowing circumstances to choose for them. They let fear decide their actions. They allow doubt to determine their path. They allow the voices of the world to guide them rather than the voice of truth. And when a person refuses to make a clear decision about what truly matters, life slowly becomes a series of reactions. Instead of a life guided by purpose, one of the greatest tragedies in life is not failure. Failure can teach lessons and build strength. The greater tragedy is indecision. When a person refuses to decide what they believe, what they value, and what direction they will follow, they remain trapped between two paths. They move forward without conviction, without clarity, and without peace in their hearts. A life-changing decision requires courage. It requires a person to stop drifting and begin choosing. It requires honesty with oneself about what is truly important. Many people avoid this moment because decisions bring responsibility. Once a person decides something deeply, they can no longer pretend that the truth is unclear. They must face the direction they have chosen. There are many decisions in life that influence the path we walk. People decide what career to pursue, where to live, and who they will spend their lives with. These decisions matter, and they shape many parts of our daily lives. Yet there is a deeper decision that stands above all others. It is the decision about the foundation upon which a life will stand. Without a strong foundation, everything else in life becomes unstable. Success may come for a season, but it will not satisfy the heart. Achievements may pile up, yet the soul still feels restless. People may gain recognition and applause, but deep within they still feel the quiet question echoing through their thoughts. Is this all there is? The world offers many temporary answers to that question. Some people try to fill the emptiness with wealth. They believe that if they earn enough money, their lives will finally feel secure. Others chase after fame or approval, hoping that recognition from others will give them the sense of worth they are searching for. Still others seek distraction through constant activity, keeping themselves so busy that they never have to face the deeper questions of life. But none of these things have the power to transform the core of a person. As life, they may change circumstances, but they cannot change the heart. They may improve comfort, but they cannot provide true peace. They may satisfy for a moment, but they cannot satisfy forever. A life-changing decision begins when a person recognizes that their greatest need is not simply improvement, but transformation. Improvement adjusts behavior, but transformation changes the heart. Improvement focuses on outward appearance, but transformation reaches into the deepest part of who we are. The moment a person begins to understand this truth, they arrive at a crossroads. One path leads back to the familiar patterns of life, the routines and habits that feel comfortable even if they are empty. The other path leads toward a new direction, one that requires faith, humility, and a willingness to embrace truth. Standing at that crossroads can be uncomfortable. It forces a person to confront the reality that life cannot remain the same if true change is desired. Many people hesitate in this moment because they fear what change might require. They worry about what others will think. They question whether they are ready to take a step into something different. Yet the power of a life-changing decision is not found in perfect readiness. No person fully understands the future when they make a meaningful decision. The power is found in the willingness to respond to truth when it becomes clear. When a person recognizes the direction that leads to purpose and chooses to follow it, that choice begins to reshape everything about their life. That single decision begins to influence every other decision that follows. It changes priorities. It reshapes values. It gives clarity to choices that once felt confusing. Suddenly, life is no longer guided by random circumstances, but by a deeper understanding of purpose. People who make a life-changing decision often discover that the transformation begins quietly. It may not look dramatic from the outside at first. The world may continue moving as it always has. Daily routines may remain the same for a time. Yet within the heart, something powerful has shifted. There is a new sense of direction forming. There's a new awareness of meaning behind everyday moments. There's a growing confidence that life is no longer drifting aimlessly, but moving towards something that truly matters. Over time, that inner transformation begins to show itself in outward ways. Attitudes change. Priorities shift. Relationships begin to reflect new values. A person who once felt uncertain about the purpose of life begins to live with a clearer sense of why they are here and what truly matters. This is the quiet but powerful effect of a life-changing decision. It does not simply adjust a few details of life. It reshapes the entire journey. The past may still exist with its memories and lessons, but the future begins to unfold with new direction. The present moment gains significance because it becomes part of a larger story being written through the choices a person makes each day. Every human heart longs for truth. Deep within every person there is a quiet desire to understand what is real, what is lasting, and what truly matters in life. People may pursue many different paths in their search, but the longing remains the same. It is the longing to find something solid in a world that often feels uncertain. Something dependable in a world that constantly changes. The truth that transforms the heart is not merely information for the mind. It is a reality that reaches into the deepest part of who we are. Many people believe that truth is simply a matter of opinion. They grow up hearing that everyone has their own version of truth and that no one can really know what is absolutely right. In a world filled with many voices, many ideas, and many beliefs, it can sometimes feel easier to say that truth is whatever a person chooses to believe. Yet deep down, the human heart knows that this cannot be the full answer. If truth were only opinion, then nothing would truly matter. Right and wrong would lose their meaning, and life would drift without any firm direction. The heart of a person needs something stronger than shifting opinions. It needs truth that stands firm regardless of circumstances. It needs truth that does not change with time, popularity, or culture. The kind of truth that transforms the heart is the truth that speaks to our deepest needs, the truth that reveals who we really are and what we were created to become. One of the most powerful moments in a person's life occurs when they encounter truth that exposes the reality of their own heart. It is easy to look at the outside of life and believe everything is fine. People can build an image of success, confidence, and strength while hiding uncertainty and emptiness beneath the surface. The world often encourages people to focus on appearance rather than reality, to create a life that looks impressive instead of one that is deeply meaningful. Truth has a way of cutting through those layers of appearance. It reveals what lies beneath the surface. It shows the difference between who we pretend to be and who we truly are. This moment of realization can feel uncomfortable because it challenges the illusions people build around their lives. Yet it is also the beginning of genuine transformation, because the heart cannot be changed until it first recognizes the truth about its condition. Many people resist this moment. They prefer comfortable illusions rather than difficult truths. They surround themselves with distractions that keep them from thinking too deeply about life. Entertainment, constant activity, and endless noise can fill the mind so completely that there is little room left for reflection. But no amount of distraction can permanently silence the deeper questions of the heart. Eventually, every person faces moments of quiet reflection when the questions return. Questions about purpose, meaning, and direction begin to surface again. A person may wonder whether their life is moving towards something significant or simply passing through time without lasting impact. These questions are not signs of weakness. They are signs that the heart is searching for truth. The truth that transforms the heart does more than reveal problems. It also reveals hope. If truth only exposed failure and weakness, it would leave people trapped in discouragement. But transforming truth carries with it the possibility of change. It shows that the heart is capable of becoming something new. Transformation begins when a person accepts truth not merely as an idea, but as a reality that applies personally to their life. It is one thing to acknowledge truth in theory, to agree with it in conversation or discussion. It is something entirely different to allow that truth to reshape the way a person thinks, feels, and lives. When truth reaches the heart, it begins to challenge long-held assumptions. It causes a person to reevaluate priorities that once seemed unquestionable. Goals that once felt important may begin to lose their power, while new values begin to take their place. This process can feel unsettling because it disrupts familiar patterns of thought. Yet within that disruption lies the beginning of clarity. The heart that embraces truth begins to experience a new sense of direction. Confusion slowly gives way to understanding. Instead of chasing every opportunity that appears attractive, a person begins to focus on what truly aligns with deeper purpose. The transforming power of truth also brings freedom. Many people live under invisible burdens created by fear, guilt, regret, or the pressure to meet the expectations of others. These burdens can weigh heavily on the heart, shaping decision and limiting the ability to live with confidence and peace. Truth has a remarkable way of breaking those chains. When a person recognizes what is genuinely important and what truly defines their identity, the opinions of the world begin to lose their control. The heart becomes less dependent on approval and more grounded in purpose. As this transformation continues, the way a person views life itself begins to change. Circumstances that once felt overwhelming may begin to appear in a different light. Challenges that once seemed meaningless may reveal opportunities for growth and understanding. Even difficulties can become part of a larger story unfolding in a life guided by truth. This does not mean that life suddenly becomes easy or free from struggle. Every person still faces hardships, disappointments, and moments of uncertainty. Yet the difference lies in the foundation upon which the heart now stands. Truth provides stability in the midst of change. A heart transformed by truth begins to develop new patterns of thinking. Instead of reacting impulsively to every situation, a person begins to respond with wisdom shaped by deeper understanding. Instead of being controlled by temporary emotions, the heart becomes guided by lasting values. Relationships also begin to reflect this transformation. When truth shapes the heart, it naturally influences the way a person treats others. Compassion grows stronger because the heart recognizes the shared struggles of humanity. Patience increases because truth brings humility and perspective. Over time, the influence of transforming truth extends beyond the individual. A changed heart affects families, friendships, and communities. The impact of one person who lives according to truth can quietly encourage others to begin their own search for deeper meaning. The world often measures success through visible achievements such as wealth, power, or recognition. Yet the transformation of the heart is a different kind of success, one that cannot always be measured by outward standards. It is the quiet but powerful shift that takes place when a person's inner life begins to align with truth. A transformed heart begins to experience a new sense of peace that does not depend on circumstances. There is a deeper confidence that life has meaning beyond temporary events. Decisions become guided by principles rather than impulses. Direction becomes clearer because the heart now recognizes what truly matters. This is the remarkable power of truth when it is allowed to reach beyond the mind and touch the deepest part of the human heart. It moves beyond knowledge and becomes transformation. It reshapes identity, renews perspective, and begins to guide every step of a life moving toward purpose. Every human being longs for a new beginning. No matter where a person comes from or what experiences have shaped their past, there's a deep desire within the heart to know that life can be different, that mistakes do not have to define the future, and that the story of a life is not limited to what has already happened. People carry memories of regrets, failures, and moments they wish they could change. The weight of those memories often leads many to believe that their lives will always be shaped by what lies behind them. Yet the message of a new life through faith in God speaks directly to that struggle, revealing that the past does not have to control the future. Many people attempt to create a new life through their own strength. They make promises to themselves that things will be different. They try to change habits, improve attitudes, and rebuild areas of life that have been damaged. These efforts can sometimes bring temporary improvement, but they often struggle to reach the deepest part of the heart. The reason is simple. Real change requires more than determination. It requires transformation from within. Faith in God introduces a different kind of beginning. It is not based on human perfection or personal achievement. Instead, it begins with the recognition that life was never meant to be lived apart from the one who created it. When a person begins to understand that their purpose is connected to God, something profound begins to happen within the heart. Faith is not merely the acceptance of an idea. It is trust placed in the character, power, and love of God. It is the willingness to believe that God sees beyond our failures and offers something greater than we could ever build on our own. When faith enters the heart, it begins to change the way a person sees themselves and the way they see their future. One of the first things faith does is remove the heavy burden of believing that we must fix everything alone. Many people live with the constant pressure of trying to prove their worth, trying to repair their past, and trying to create a meaningful future through their own strength. This pressure can quietly drain hope from the heart because human strength eventually reaches its limits. Faith in God shifts the focus away from human limitations and toward divine grace. Introduces the understanding that God's power is greater than our weakness and that his purpose is greater than our mistakes. This realization opens the door for genuine renewal. A new life through faith does not begin with perfection. It begins with surrender. It begins with a simple but powerful recognition that we need God. This moment of humility is often the turning point in a person's life because it allows God's influence to begin shaping the heart in ways that human effort alone never could. As faith grows, it begins to change how a person understands their identity. Many people define themselves by past failures, by the opinions of others, or by the achievements they have or have not reached. These definitions can trap a person in a cycle of insecurity or pride, both of which prevent the heart from experiencing true peace. Faith in God introduces a new identity rooted in relationship with him. Instead of being defined by the past, a person begins to see themselves through the lens of God as purpose and love. This shift in identity brings a deep sense of freedom because it removes the need to constantly prove one's value. With this new perspective comes a renewed sense of direction. Life is no longer just about surviving or chasing temporary goals. It becomes about discovering the purpose that God has placed within each person's life. Faith awakens the understanding that every day holds meaning and that even small moments can become part of a larger story guided by God. This new life does not mean that challenges disappear. Every person continues to face difficulties, uncertainties, and moments of weakness. The difference lies in the source of strength available to the heart. Faith provides the assurance that God is present in every situation, offering guidance, wisdom, and strength when it is needed most. As a person continues to walk in faith, their perspective on life begins to change. Problems that once felt overwhelming become opportunities to trust God more deeply. Moments of uncertainty become reminders that God's guidance is available. Even failures can become lessons that lead to growth rather than reasons for despair. Faith also reshapes the way a person views other people. A heart that experiences the grace of God naturally begins to extend that same grace to others. Instead of holding on to bitterness or resentment, the heart becomes more willing to forgive. Instead of competing for recognition, the focus shifts towards serving and encouraging others. This transformation often happens gradually, one step at a time. A person may not immediately notice the full extent of the change taking place within them, yet over time the evidence becomes clear. Old habits begin to lose their power. New attitudes begin to shape daily choices. Hope replaces the discouragement that once dominated the heart. A life guided by faith also develops a deeper sense of peace. The world is filled with uncertainty, and many people constantly worry about what the future might bring. Faith does not remove every unknown from life, but it introduces a confidence that the future is held in God's hands. This confidence allows a person to move forward with courage, even when the path ahead is not completely visible. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, the heart learns to trust that God is guiding each step. Decisions are no longer driven solely by anxiety about outcomes, but by the desire to follow God's direction. Over time, this journey of faith begins to influence every part of life. The way a person thinks, speaks, and acts gradually reflects the transformation taking place within their heart. Relationships become more meaningful because they are rooted in love rather than selfish ambition. Goals become more purposeful because they align with values that go beyond temporary success. The new life that grows through faith is not simply about personal improvement. It is about becoming part of something greater than oneself. Faith connects a person to God's plan, inviting them to participate in a story that extends far beyond individual ambitions. Each step of faith deepens the awareness that life is not an accident and that every person has been created with purpose. Even ordinary moments can carry extraordinary significance when they are lived in connection with God's presence. As this awareness grows, the heart becomes more attentive to the ways God works in everyday life. Small acts of kindness take on deeper meaning. Moments of prayer become sources of strength. Opportunities to help others become expressions of the faith that now guides the heart. The journey of a new life through faith continues to unfold day by day, shaping character, renewing hope, and drawing the heart closer to the purpose for which it was created.